Was last night more about the Raiders' rise or Brees' decline?
Well, I'm going to give the credit to the Raiders, Skip, and I think the Raiders might be better than I realized. I've been very critical of John Gruden, but it seems to me that he and Mike Mayock has put together a great football team.
Great?
A great. They have the makings of a very good to great football team. Skip, if you look the way they're built, their offensive line is dominant. They can run the football with Josh Jacobs and Jalen Richard. He just has to hold on to the football. But they can run the football. They got Ruggs to take the top off. And that Waller kid, he's a problem. Saints had no answer for him. They tried a linebacker. They tried safeties. They tried corners. He was just too big, too physical. They targeted him, I think, about 15 times. He had 12 catches. He's a problem. He made the Pro Bowl last year. He seems to be on his way up. He's trying to get his name in that threshold where you talk about the kid, Kelsey, and you talk about Kittle. He wants to get his name mentioned when you talk about those two guys. Hey, what about Waller? What about the Raiders? Skip, he's very good. Derek Carr, I've never been the biggest fan of his, but I think Gruden has settled him down. They put him in situations because when you can run the football, you can play action off it. And the Saints didn't help their cause with all those penalties, which was very uncharacteristic. The first two games, Skip, they're getting penalties out there, yang. And I know Sean Payton is not happy with that. Nope. But if you look at the Raiders, Skip, they were 12 of 19 on third and fourth downs. Yep. They were 10 of 17 on third down, 2 for 2 on fourth down. Yep. That tells me if you can't get a team off the field on third down, you're going to get beat. That also tells me they're possessing the football. 36 minutes time of possession for the Raiders, 24 minutes for the Saints. And so for me, I look at it, it seemed the Saints seemed in control of this game. And then Drew threw a horrible interception right before the half. The Raiders kick a field goal. Skip, and when they came out at the half, they stepped on the gas and didn't look back. Yeah, I mean, you want to count that little touchdown late at the end of the game, and Drew got some little mop-up yards. But when they needed him to make plays, he didn't make any plays. And the thing was, he was doing a lot of fishing around the edge, 4.8 yards per attempt. Skip, that won't get it done. And so for me, I don't want to talk. We'll talk about Drew a little later, but I want to give credit to the Raiders. Defensively, I thought Paul Guenther called a great game. Got Drew off his marks. They were hitting out there. They were trying to take the Saints' heads off. Physical team, fast team. It seems to me Gruden has built, he and Mike Mayock has built this team the way, and the vision that they have. They have speed and they're physical. So I like what I'm seeing for the Raiders, Skip. I undervalued them. I did not see this coming.
Okay. I'm going to address first the New Orleans Saints, more specifically Drew Brees. I am not going to write him off just yet.
Right.
And I'm going to remind everyone, for each of the last 3 years, he has set records for completion percentage.
Right.
The first 2 years, 2017 and 18, he set the all-time record, breaking his in the second year. And then he had the third all-time greatest completion percentage last year.
Right.
So it's hard to argue with 74% completion because it's impossibly great.
Correct.
This year, he's dropped all the way down to 64.7%. What am I seeing from him over the last couple of years? It just looks like he has to really guts up all the effort in his body to get any oomph on his throws.
It does.
It's like, I just almost have to get a running start to get some mustard on his
It's funny that you say that, Skip, because I watched him last night and he threw the ball out of bounds. Did you see how hard he had to throw it out of the end zone?
Every throw looks like it takes all he's got left just to get something on the ball. He is so smart, obviously. He can be so accurate that he's still going to be a factor and a force through the year.
Yes.
So I'm not saying they're dead in the water because they are not. But he was without Michael Thomas last night, and Traquan Smith is just okay, and I think he was struggling a little bit with him. But more to the point, you love Jared Cook, and so do I.
Yes.
He was really quiet last night. He just had a couple of catches.
Right.
We both love Emmanuel Sanders, and I don't know what's wrong with him, but he just doesn't look like Emmanuel Sanders.
Right. He and Drew, for whatever reason, haven't gotten on the same page.
They're not on the same
One
page.
catch on 4 targets.
He got one catch last night, and I can't even remember it because I just kept thinking, where is he? I thought this was his night to rise and shine on Monday Night Football because he has been, in his career, a big night, big game player. Okay, so that's New Orleans. But to your point, I thought there were times in the first quarter and even early in the second quarter, I thought this was going to be 35-14 Saints.
I did.
That's why I can't completely write them off. Now back to your point. They ran into a buzzsaw last night in what they're now calling the Death Star, that new stadium in Las Vegas, which Ernestine and I have driven past as it was being built, and it looks like a Death Star. It is spectacular. It was empty last night.
Very fitting of Vegas?
Yep, very fitting of Vegas, except there were no people there,
right.
including Mark Davis, the owner, who said, well, if we can't have people, I'm not going to go. So he missed his first game since he was 8 years old as Al Davis's son, obviously. Wow. So the point is, you got to see on the national stage a coming out party for John Gruden's Oakland Raiders. I'm a big Gruden fan.
Las Vegas now.
Huh?
Las
Vegas. But they're always in my heart. They're going to be the Oakland Raiders because I've covered them my whole life. There's a part of me that's a Raiders fan because I loved Al and I knew him and I was close with him. So they're the Oakland Raiders to me. They just happen now to reside in Las Vegas. But that's okay. But I'm going to still call them the Oakland Raiders because Raider Nation's going to think of them as the Oakland Raiders. And yet I'm a Gruden fan because I also know him and I do believe in him. I've told you, he creates a force field that is second only to the Jimmy Johnson force field that I covered early in Dallas in the early 90s when he created a dynasty that should have gone on and won like 5 straight Super Bowls, but we know what happened between Jimmy and Jerry.
Correct.
The point is, John Gruden is a front runner in the best of all. I'm saying it completely positively. He's a front runner. Give him some front to run with. You got to give him something. Right. And all of a sudden, to your point, Mike Mayock gave him a little something. So let's talk about Darren Waller, who took the game over last night. That was his coming out party on a national stage, even though last year, among tight ends, he had the second most catches and the second most yards to Travis Kelce.
Right.
And when Kelce, obviously when Kansas City made it to the Super Bowl and he couldn't go to the Pro Bowl, Darren Waller got named as the alternate to replace him and had a thumb injury, so he couldn't actually play in the game, so he didn't get credit for being in the Pro Bowl. But that's how good he already is. So what do we see from him? When did I get to know him? Maybe you got to know him. Hard Knocks before last season, right? He was a great story because he got busted by the league twice for substance abuse.
Right.
Don't know exactly what the details were, but he got a 4-game suspension. This is when he was in Baltimore. And then he got a whole year suspension. And he talked open-heartedly on Hard Knocks about, I blew it. I nearly ruined my whole career. And God bless him. I want to knock on wood for him. I hope he's going to stay on the straight.
So do I.
It can be a problem. The demons can creep back
every day.
When you least expect it. But the point is, he's 6'6", 255. Coming out of college, he was not a tight end. He was a wideout at Georgia Tech.
He was the Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas mold. He was that big wide receiver.
Big wide receiver. And guess who said, I want that guy? Ozzie. Ozzie Newsome, still in charge, obviously in power in Baltimore at that point, said, I'll take a 6th-round flyer on him because I see something. And when Ozzie sees something, he is invariably correct about it. And he was correct about this kid until he had the drug issue.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, they had to keep him on the practice squad. And Mike Mayock said, I'll claim him off your practice squad. And all of a sudden, going into Hard Knocks, he's a brand new Oakland Raider, right? So what do we see now? He ran, coming out of college, he ran 4.46. Well, he only weighed 240-ish then, so he's put on about 15.
At that size, that's still booking. 4.46 at 240, that's booking.
Okay, so to me, John Gruden keeps making the point, I will take him over Kittle and I will take him over Kelce. I don't blame him.
Right.
I would too. As a pure pass catcher, you help me. You are in the Hall of Fame at that position. This is pure pass catching. You want to talk about matchup nightmare? They tried everything. They would bracket him. They would double him. They would try their best DB on him. They put Lattimore on him.
And that's the advantage that the tight end has, Skip. When you have a guy like Kittle, you have a guy like Kelce, you have a kid like Waller now, because of the size advantage. You're talking about 6'6" versus Lattimore's what, 6 foot tall? Or you're talking about a linebacker. You get linebackers to rush the quarterback or thump the runner. You don't get them to cover the tight end or safeties. That's not their expertise. And so this is why these guys, and when they get it going, That's why it's like, wow, it's such a mismatch when you have that guy. Skip, they tried everything. And I'm like, bro, y'all better double him. Y'all might as well say, look, Latimer, you take a wide receiver. We're going to bracket him with a linebacker and a safety because you're trying to go one-on-one, and that's not the answer for him.
Derek Carr has such a wavelength with him. He's so dependent now on Darren Waller that it doesn't matter what the coverage is saying. He's just going to throw it to him because he thinks he can beat any kind of coverage.
Yes.
And oftentimes last night, 16 targets, 12 catches, he did.
Right.
And to my eye test, he is moving at a little different speed in quickness and overall speed than Kelsey or Kittle can move at.
Right.
To me, it's hard to argue with what Travis Kelsey has done on the biggest stages in the sport.
4 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
Okay, and it's hard. Like, I need to see a little more of Darren Waller in big games, and they're about to have a bunch of big games.
They're about to have a bunch of them,
because they're going to go to New England, and pretty soon they got to go to Kansas City.
But it's a start, Skip, because he did this on a national stage. And that's what sometimes guys have to have a breakout. Because a lot of times, Skip, you play in your games, you don't really see, you just look at the stat line, you're like, okay, yeah, he had this and this. But everybody watches Monday Night Football. So everybody's around the TV that's in the NFL, and they're like, well, wait a minute. Man, this kid legit, he can play. So that was, you're right, this was his coming out party. He's about to be a household name like Kelsey, like Kittle. Watch.
He is right in the middle of the conversation. And when John Gruden says it is astonishing what he has done because this is only his second season in this position, you can relate.
Yes, absolutely.
It's hard to say, oh, I was split out wide. Now I'm a tight end. And sometimes I'm in tight in the formation, sometimes in the slot.
I think the hardest thing to learn for a wide receiver transitioning to tight end, Skip, is to learn how to run routes in a confined area. Because you have to realize when you're outside the numbers, you got all that space. But now they bring you in tight to the line of scrimmage. You got to get past a defensive lineman. You got linebackers right there, normally the safety. So that's the thing. But because he was a wide receiver, you see how well he gets in and out of breaks. Because that wide receiver, now all of a sudden, that takes over. The key for him is that blocking. Because if you got all of a sudden now you blocking 300-pounders, there ain't no DBs you're blocking. You blocking DNs and linebackers now.
Yep, and I don't know about that part of it, but I do know John Gruden can call a football game.
Yeah.
When he gets on a roll, he's over there throwing his fist. He can out clever you.
Well, he did.
And he was moving Darren Waller all over the place. A lot of motion. Like one time he brought him all the way across the formation when they threw the touchdown pass to the fullback. And just wiped everybody. Everybody was, oh, there goes 83, 83. And he runs all the way across the formation, all the way to the flag. And then
they slide the fullback.
And you just slid the foot back into the hole.
Drag fullback slide is what we call that place.
There's nobody home. Oh, that's pretty.
Because you know because they run so much down flat, Skip. So now we run the tight end. Okay, here come the tight end. Now they drag the fullback, and there's the fullback wide open for a touchdown.
Yep. So they got two kids fairly late in the first round a couple of years back. They got Josh Jacobs, who just can run like a banshee, man. He can just attack you. And it looked like he had a leg issue, like a thigh injury. And he just came back on and just helped kill the clock last night. Richard can get loose, obviously. So you got a pretty good 1-2 punch at running back.
Because both of them can run it, both of them can catch it.
Okay. And then Jonathan Abram. I've told you before, and you may not remember, but I loved him coming out of Mississippi State before the draft.
Yeah, dude, he ran like 4.2, right? He can fly for a safety.
And he has no regard for his own body. He's one of those guys who just doesn't care. He will blow himself up, and he will blow you up all at the same time. He blew himself up early last year in the opener, and was it the opener or first?
Yeah, it was his first game.
It's a Monday night game. And that was it for his rookie year. So is he still a rookie or is he a veteran? He says he's still a rookie, but he doesn't play like a rookie. No. And he brings such edge to the defense. Like you said, the offensive line sets the tone for the offense. Well, he sets it for the defense. So you got two young players who have they run with guts, they play with guts, with edge, with passion that Gruden thrives on. And my issue with New Orleans last night became a defensive issue because, to your point, first of all, they had, 10 penalties for
10.
Whoa, for what was it? 10 for 129 yards. That's so not.
And they had like 8, 9 last week.
Yeah. Okay. And then the key play of the game, after Richard had lost the fumble, and I thought he might have lost the game, Drew Brees could not capitalize. And then it becomes a 3rd and 10 play at the Saints 20.
Right.
And here comes, if we could see this, Jalen Richard goes wide with it. And help me out.
On third and 10?
3rd and 10.
Oh, that's the pick.
That's the pick. Okay. Which was a huge play.
This is it
but
right
here
here.
we go. Here we go. Are they going to tackle him? Is anybody going to try to get him? That was some weak effort on the part of the
Yeah,
Saints.
Jack Rabbit got a submarine to see. Can't run himself out to play. He got to go low on 71.
You cannot do that.
No. Because all you did was make a hole bigger. Would you do this right?
Okay, this looks like a give-up play to me.
Yeah.
This looks like a defense that has lost heart.
Right.
That has lost its stomach for hanging in this football game. And that was like, we give up.
Right.
We're done. I didn't think I would see that from a New Orleans Saints defense because I don't see that usually. That's not the MO.
Yeah, I thought they got Dennis Allen's defense. I thought they got dominated last night because the Raiders got whatever they want whenever they wanted.
They did.
They
To your point, what'd you say, 3rd and 4th down?
They were 12 of 19.
Okay.
10 of 7. First of all, to have that many third downs, Skip, do you know how I mean, because they only had 9 possessions, and right now the league average is about 11.
17 third down?
17, and you allow them to convert 10 of those, and then they go 2 for 2 on 4th down. Yeah, you're probably going to lose the game. Unless they turn the ball over like the Cowboys and then you have a bowhead play like the Falcons, you're going to lose the game. You allow a team to get 10 of 17, convert 10 of 17 on 3rd down, you're probably going to lose the game. And give the Raiders, Skip, I think they have something here. I did not see this coming. I definitely thought, I was like, man, time has passed John Gruden by. But I guess Y2 Banana, he dusted off Spider Y2 Banana. And it's back in play again. But I think the biggest difference is that he's getting solid play from Derek Carr. You can run all you want to, but at some point in time.
That's the bottom line to this discussion.
Yep.
How good is he? I'm never quite sure.
I'm not either.
He actually quietly had a very good year last year by Derek Carr standards.
Right.
They went 7-9. So they go 4-12 Gruden's first year, 7-9 last year. And he played at a pretty high level most of the year in the shadows.
Right.
Nobody really focused.
Right.
Now they're going to focus. He's going to Foxborough, Cam versus Derek Carr.
Right.
He's obviously a talented kid. Does he have this? Is he mentally tough enough to control his emotions and stay within the context of the offense and not let Gruden is hard to play for, man.
He is, Skip. But I think the biggest thing is that when we look at young quarterbacks, we look at Mahomes. Mahomes is younger than Carr. We look at Lamar Jackson. We look at all these young quarterbacks, and they're like, okay, yeah, Carr's okay, but is he that? Is he Deshaun Watson?
No.
Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he Lamar Jackson?
Is he Dak Prescott?
Right.
No, he's not.
So that's the problem that he's up against, Skip. He's a young quarterback, but there are some quarterbacks that's younger than he is that's so much better than he is.
Okay, so look at what happens on their schedule. They go to New England.
Okay.
Not easy. They got Buffalo at home. Not easy.
easy.
At Kansas City. Obviously not easy. Then they get a bye. Then they get Tampa Bay. And then they go to Cleveland. Well, that's a pretty rough stretch there. You've got to survive it.
We'll find out the first half of the season how good they are.
But the back half, we don't have to go through all the games, but trust me, really the last 9 games, all of them are winnable for Derek Carr and John Gruden and what we saw from that defense last night. They might be able to win 8 of these last night. They might be able to get on a real roll. They might be able to get to 10 wins. Would that get them a wild card?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it feels like, and again, I root for Gruden, you don't, but it feels like I'm going to root for him to get a wild card because it seems within their grasp.
Yeah, well, Skip, he was my brother's position coach in Green Bay. Now, my brother swears by him. He loved John Gruden. Andy Reid was on that staff, Mariucci, obviously, and he swears by John Gruden. He loves John Gruden.
Let me just tell you this. Of all the football people I've ever talked to, had like hallway conversations with about football, he is the most fun of anyone I've ever talked to. He can talk ball.
Yes.
And he loves it.
He does.
Almost as much as he loves his wife and kids. You know, like it's just his whole life is ball.
It is.
And so that's why I root for him, because he's basically a good guy who's really hard on his quarterbacks. But after the game last night, he was highly complimentary of Derek Carr. I think he's trying to mellow a little bit.
Right.
Let me just take it a game at a time and just be nice to him.
It just seems this is his third year with Derek Carr. It just seems like, yeah, I'm happy, but it's kind of like it's like an arranged marriage. I didn't go through I didn't pick you.
No,
this was arranged. You were already.
I agree. That is a good
you were
point.
already here when I got here, so.
But now I gotta make peace with you.
Yes.
Correct.
Sorry, Jenny.
That sounds like a long life, an arranged marriage. You had to get the relationship in there. By the way, guys, the Raiders are opening at 5-point underdogs at the Patriots this weekend, so keep that in mind.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.